Kirill Kaprizov a prospect anymore because he's sort of a figment of our imagination. Matt Boldy's probably the best prospect in the organization right now that's at least on our soil. And so that's good. Then they took the kid first off with the second-round pick. Everybody likes him as well. What's interesting about him, so the way it works is that he was a USHL player. He's committed to go to UConn. If you have NCAA status, you have to pay your way to these development camps. So Mark Gandler, his agent, bought him a round-trip ticket, obviously, or he bought a round-trip ticket to get to the draft from Russia. So, but what they did is you don't know when development camps are. So what if a team, Nashville, I'm just making it up, I don't know, but say Nashville drafted him and Nashville's got a development camp mid-July, at least then you go back and then he could figure out a way to buy himself a ticket to get back here. So what happens is he goes back, he's drafted by the Wild. Well, he's not going to buy a last second, the day after plane ticket to come here from Russia and then put himself up in a hotel and buy himself food. It would have cost a kid who doesn't come from a lot of money $5,000 or something probably to do all that. And so they just made the decision that he's just going to stay back home right now, train, get a student visa, then he'll be ready to start UConn in the fall. So it's Wild fans shouldn't worry that the Russian they took I've already seen it on Twitter that the Russian they took in the second round is not at their first development camp. This is why it's happening. It's no conspiracy. It's because of the fact that he would have had to spend a fortune of his own money to come to a 4-day camp. So, but everybody seems to think that their prospects were good that they took. They took 8 guys in the organization. We'll see how they are. I know that they love the kid Beckman. They feel like they got him as a steal. They drafted a couple goalies. Again, Craig Button thinks that Hunter Jones is the second best goalie in the draft. We'll see. Didn't have a great year last year, but it seemed like he played every other game. I think he just got burnt out. And then they took another goalie as a flyer in the 7th round. That's also that's going to college. And so a couple Russians. They took the Marshall Warren kid, who's a defenseman from Long Island, by the way, defenseman with Matt Boldy on the U.S. national team. That's also going to Boston College. So good draft. Didn't make a trade yet. Do you want to get to a commercial, or we can go right into that?
Let's think Bite Squad, bitesquad.com, or use the Bite Squad app. They now have a deal, $5.99 a month. You get unlimited delivery all month for that $5.99, anything within a 4-mile radius. Obviously, we want you to come eat at Tin Shed down in Savage, but if you're anywhere else in the metro or you're just not going to go out, Bite Squad's the way to go. Food shows up restaurant quality. Upload your information to Bite Squad app, and ordering is very easy. It's prompt, but the best thing is the food shows up looking and tasting like restaurant quality food. So check out bitesquad.com or Bite Squad, the app. And Brian, whenever you're ready, we can give away those tickets. You ready now? Cool. Hey, everybody give Brian a round of applause for hosting the show. We appreciate it. As you can see, this is a perfect place to do this. Sometimes we sell out this part. And tonight, we've sold out the whole thing, which, again, I appreciate everybody who showed up. I also appreciate Brian and Tin Shed for handling that. So, Brian, how do you want to do this?
I'll do the drawing, and I'll just leave them for you guys to kind of call them out.
Okay.
First of all, I just want to thank everybody for coming out and supporting the Tin Shed and supporting their show. I know everybody, Michael and Jim and I all appreciate it. Quick reminder on how this works. Every live show you can enter into win the drawing for 2 tickets to a Wild game. You have to be at the live shows when we draw to give them away. So everybody here, great crowd again today, has a chance to win. We'll draw a couple times throughout the season, but since this was the 200th show, I thought, let's give away a bunch and do a big thing. Let's go crazy. So I'll just grab the bucket here.
Here we go. Let me hand it off to you.
Draw some names. Hopefully you guys are here. First one out of the bucket is Sharon Feiberger.
Wow.
Sharon Feiberger. Yeah. She's here. All right.
Sharon, good friend, came on one of my first Europe trips and also made me an incredible gift for my birthday, Trampled by Turtles Owl logo.
Wow.
That's in my office right now. So very, very happy to hear Sharon won that.
So what I'll do is, Sharon, you'll have the first pick of these 6 games that are available here, and then down the list, people will get to choose from whichever ones are left.
Do you want Sharon to come up now, or do you just want to deal with those later?
I'll do it later.
Good.
Second one is John Cummings. John?
You here, John?
All right.
All right, good deal.
So far, so good. 2 for 2. Next up is Sam Schmidt. Yeah? All right. Fourth one here is, how about Jessica Burgoyne? Burgoyne.
Yay! Yeah. And by the way, we're going to continue to do this show here. We're going to continue to give away tickets. You might want to follow Tin Shed on Twitter, Tin Shed Savage, as well as checking out their website, tinshedmn.com.
How about Matt Yetzer? There it is.
Hey!
Look at it, all disingenuous the way they're clapping for you. Because they know there's only one left.
1 to go.
And again, after this, we'll also open it up for live questions. Anybody comes up, if you ask a live question, you come over here and take your choice of either the T-shirt, one of Michael's books he's trying to get rid of, or any of the other stuff he's trying to get rid of.
Peter Rampart.
Yes!
Hey! Yes. There we go.
Congratulations.
All right, I'll come around to the winners and we'll do the selection and pick out the games. Again, I just want to thank everybody for coming out and supporting the Tin Shed and Michael and Jim.
Awesome.
Thanks for
Thank
doing
you, Brian.
that. That's
we
really
appreciate
cool
it. Really cool. And by the way, to be clear, this is Brian giving away tickets, not us. Brian is doing this, so we really appreciate it. Yeah. He'll be around, and thanks everybody. And again, we'll do the 3M show like right at the end of the show. So the 3M giveaway at the end of the show.
So get in there if you can go on Friday.
It's also time to do live questions. Anybody who wants to ask them, don't be shy. I know Heather Rule texted me saying, "Hey, her parents are here, and they might need some encouragement to come up to the mic." So let's not be shy. Come on up. Pontus Alberg. Aberg. Did I say Alberg? What's wrong with me with names tonight? Of course I do that on every show.
He'll be in the KHL by the end of the July 1st.
Was he just a what the heck move, or did they actually think he could play?
Paul had him in Nashville, and I think he still thought, like a lot of GMs do, that sometimes you look at guys with scouts' eyes, and there's clear talent there. But look, there was a reason why he was leading the Anaheim Ducks in goal scoring at the time of the trade, and was scratched like a bunch of games in a row. He just came here and he didn't fit in. Anyway, didn't play well, and so they, to Paul's credit, he's just letting him go. A lot of GMs would just bring him back and try to force feed it, but I think he just realizes that there's just no room for him there. It was a minor league try. Justin Kluse was never going to get an opportunity here to be an NHL player. The trade actually really hurt Iowa at the time, though. He took a real top scorer and moved him, so it hurt from that standpoint. But Iowa wound up making the playoffs, obviously, and went to the second round.
I love it when we get questions from people wearing AC/DC T-shirts, because I love AC/DC, one of the great riff rock bands of all time. Fire away.
When I used to cover the West Palm Beach Blaze, they'd come out for the third period and play Hell's Bells. And it was honestly like the lights. West Palm Beach Auditorium, which doesn't exist anymore. West Palm Beach Blaze. It was run by Bill Nyrup. Bill Nyrup, everybody know that name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Nyrup from Edina, Minnesota. Just coincidentally, he basically took me under his wing when I was a teenager, covering that. I used to, not to interrupt you with the mic, but sorry.
He expected this.
200 shows, I could tell a
That's
story.
why he's leaning against the post. He knew he was going to be there for a while.
Yeah, so Bill Nyrup, so I used to cover, I was a teenager, loved hockey. The Panthers didn't exist anymore. West Palm Beach Blaze played in the Sunshine Hockey League. There were 4 teams, West Palm Beach, Lakeland, Daytona Beach, and Jacksonville. And these 4 teams played like 60 times. So these players like hated each other. Like, it's amazing they didn't have like knives on the ice and their breezers, because that's how it was slapshot. And Bill Nyrup was the commissioner of the league, but he was the owner of the West Palm Beach franchise. He was the GM of that franchise and the coach of that franchise. So he put all the great players on his team, and they won 3 straight Sunshine Cups. But I loved hockey. I was working for the Sun Sentinel as a sports writer starting at age 15. And so I would drive. I wouldn't be assigned to these games. I'd go up there. I'd cover these games. I'd write 20-inch game stories. Every single game, they cut it to 1 inch and put it in briefs. And but I was relentless. Every time I'd go up there and I'd write the same 18 inches, be there till midnight writing, and the next day it was 1 inch in the paper. They just chopped it in half, chopped it by like the entire story. And I think Bill just really respected that about me, that I was so kind of just wanted to be a hockey writer, and he kind of took me under his wing. But I went up there, and so second intermission every single night. Craig Minervini, the Panthers announcer and the Marlins announcer, and one of my best friends who's in the Bahamas right now. Good luck. He's at the casino. He was the play-by-play guy for this West Palm Beach franchise, and he was also the ABC sports anchor. And so he and I both together, every single time, second intermission, we'd get together and just kind of jam to hell's bells as the players were coming back out to the ice. So who knew? I mean, that was so long ago. It's crazy. And Bill, sadly, passed away way too early, young 40s of cancer. And it ended the league. They wound up merging with the Southern Hockey League, I believe, and just brutal. But I wrote this story. So 2006, I'm at this bar called The Times in downtown Minneapolis. I don't know if everybody remembers that place. It was awesome. Live music, free, really good friends that still to this day that worked there. And I would go there every single night. And this father and son came up to me, the Paulsons. They kind of asked me how I got my start, and this was like Christmas time. And all of a sudden, I start telling them about Bill Nyrup, and I start to realize, it's kind of the anniversary of his death coming up. So I wrote a column for the Sun Sentinel, my Sunday column on Bill Nyrup, and just kind of what he meant to me, and I wouldn't be a hockey writer today. And his dad at the time, who was in his late 90s, used to be the CEO of Northwest Airlines. He read it and was so touched by it. They got in contact with me, and I made, what's the white stuff that the paper, when you make a milestone newspaper and you print it out on the white glossy paper. What's that called?
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember what it's called.
Chris Miller or Mark Walleman, one of them, I called them up and they said, hey, I'm like, can you make like 4 copies of this and we'll frame it up? And we gave it to his 2 daughters, his widow, and the dad. And, and I don't know where it is today, but it was just kind of a cool thing that the dad at late 90s got in touch with it. Sorry.
Is there any chance you still remember your question at this point?
Shirt.
Yeah.
So
who knew wearing an AC/DC t-shirt was sufficient for tonight?
I just wanted to tell that story, so I texted him to wear that shirt. Gave me a little.
That was it. Yeah. DM on Twitter.
Yeah, it's because we plan out all this stuff so well.
So my question is, I know some AHL teams who have too many goalies will sometimes loan out a goalie. Mm-hmm. Will the Wild be the first team to loan out left wings?
Very nice. Well done.
Yeah. They are right now looking at right wings. We haven't even talked about the team yet, but right now, here's what's going on with the Wild.
I've enjoyed it.
They are. It's a good joke. So they are. My gut right now is they're trying to sign 2 right wings, right shot right wings. I don't know then when they have this many players what they're going to do to respond to that, but. There's 4 or 5 players that I've kind of ascertained they're going after. Priority number 1 is Joe Pavelski. He's talked the entire brass. Right now hasn't decided if he will come here. It's Wednesday as we're recording the show. He's in Dallas today. He goes right from Dallas to Tampa. He hasn't decided if he's going to come here this weekend. Little tip, but I will be paying attention to the fishing tournament this weekend, and if Paul Fenton or Bruce Boudreau are not there, right away I'm going to know that Pavelski's in town because he's the only one that's been invited in for a meeting. Don't tell Sarah. So that's number 1. If they don't get Pavelski, they will probably overpay for Wayne Simmons. Wayne Simmons is somebody that they are talking to a lot. He is very intrigued about playing here. It would probably cost 5 years. If they lose out on Pavelski, I'd love to be Wayne Simmons because they're probably going to have to overpay for him because they're going to be desperate to try to make some sort of move. He's somebody who's 3rd most power play goals in the league in the last 7 or 8 years, 2011. The question is he slowing down? Is the player we saw in Nashville him, or is it the player that we saw 2-3 years ago, 4 years ago in Philly him? And then there's going to be, to me, they want to get that big fish in their mind, Pavelski or Simmons, and then I think they're going to try to sign a secondary right wing that can also play center. There's Alex Chason out there. There's Jonas Donskoy out there. And suddenly, the guy that I could see them going after is Ryan Hartman. Again, Paul Fenton was the assistant GM in Nashville when they made that trade to a first-round pick to get Ryan Hartman. He was traded to Philly coincidentally for Wayne Simmons at the trade deadline. Well, his number right now in arbitration was going to be crazy. So Philly sent him to Dallas. Dallas now didn't QO him because Dallas knows that arbitration number is going to be crazy. So they're trying to sign him for lower than that. And I would wager anything that Minnesota's called on him. So those to me are going to be the guys.